The Quality Education Act was a fairly radical departure from the status quo at the time in terms of a fair amount of redistribution of educational expenditures. It also included a very controversial provision to have local school boards, rather than the state, take over the responsibility for teacher pensions.
No, it wasn't taking over the responsibility.
Okay, I'm sorry.
What it was that the state would still be paying the pensions, but that the money that the state provided for the pensions would be included and shown as aid to the individual district. So the district wasn't going to be paying for the pensions. Rather, the districts were going to still be receiving the money for the cost of the pensions from the state, but the amount of money that each district would not have to pay for the pensions of their certified or certificated employees would show as aid to the district. So what was happening is, for the first time, a real number was going to be shown for what the district was receiving from the state. And that included the cost of pensions and Social Security, which had never been shown. Every district in the state receives money, whether they're the richest district or the poorest district, in the fact that the pensions are being paid for by the state of New Jersey, or should be paid for. Now, contributions haven't been made in many years now, but the state has the responsibility for making those contributions. Different than, let's say, the local municipality, which has to pay the state on a yearly basis for the cost of the contributions for each of their employees who are in the state pension. So what happened is the calculation was the issue. It wasn't that the districts were going to be asked to pay. It was that they were going to actually be, you would know what they were receiving.
Well, if it was simply a matter of knowing what they were receiving as opposed to placing any more responsibility on the local districts, why was the NJEA so adamantly opposed to this?
They were opposed very strongly because they believed once the actual amount of money that was being spent on pensions at a local level and being paid for by the state was included in the state aid package, that this would then open the opportunity for negotiations on the pension. That now this became part of your state aid and the money that a district was receiving, so that the discussion could now take place over pensions and the cost of pensions and what pensions provided. And they did not want to open that discussion. They did not want anybody to realize, because up until that time, and even to the present, most people don't realize that the state of New Jersey pays the cost of the pension for all certificated employees. So it was really the creation of the visibility of the pensions as part of the aid received by school district that became the big issue.
So it was a slippery slope argument.
It was a slippery slope argument, and it was their concern was that this just opens the opportunity to negotiate pensions, and they did not want to negotiate pensions, and they didn't want anybody to realize that places like Milburn and Summit actually receive significant amount of money from the state. Whereas the Florida administration and the legislators believed, hey, we're spending this money. Everybody should know when they complain that all the urban districts are getting so much money, that everybody's getting some money, and actually some of that money is significant
amount. Yeah.
So that was the gist of that argument, and that was the crux of the issue with the NJEA. Well, otherwise, they loved the QEA. They will tell you to this day that everything else in the QEA was really much better than it has ever existed. But the problem was that within the internal politics of the NJEA, and Betty Kramer was the president at the time, and she was a Republican, not that that had much to do with it, but they were concerned about how it would impact on the negotiation process. And their members didn't understand, again, the differentiation that was taking place. And that created the great controversy. And once you stirred the members up over the QEA, there was nothing else that could be done.